Perfect. Yeah, thanks for everyone that's hopping on. We've got a variety of sports tonight, variety of grad years. It's going to be a good one, guys. Coach, how's it going?
Hi there. How are you? Good evening, everybody.
I'm great. We got a lively bunch here, Sue.
We do?
Yeah.
I love that.
Over 500 participants already. They're going to eat us alive.
Oh, I'm ready. I can't wait. I'm going to jump into the chat box. I want to see who's here.
Oh, you got a lot.
I've got to check. I've got to check. Julia and Tate and Maria, Brooklyn, I see you. I love it. Adam, nice. Christy, I see you. Elijah, awesome. Thank you, everybody. Phoebe, Danielle, Brian, Alicia, Eric Fox, I see you all coming in. Shout out to women's basketball. And we got our football. We have our football peeps.
Yep, they're gonna keep coming in too. So, guys, we'll go ahead and get started. Again, thank you for getting comfortable in the chat box. I wish we could shout out everybody that's hopped on, but I don't know if we have enough time for that. So, again, thank you so much for joining us this Wednesday. This is an awesome webinar for you guys. I hope you take a lot out of it. Again, keep getting comfortable with the chat box. That's where you can ask your questions. We'll do a huge Q&A at the end for you guys. But tonight is the top 10 questions college coaches may ask you. They may not, but they probably will. So who am I? My name's April Hall. I'm a vice president here with NCSA. Coached collegiately for 10 years. I was on the volleyball side of things. We've got Coach Sue Enquist here on the softball side of things. You're going to get a nice little intake of what it looks like from that college coach's perspective, which I know is something that we're both really proud to give you guys that perspective. And who NCSA is, we've been around for over 20 years, guys. I think we're the best kept secret in the United States. It's crazy. So I kind of refer to NCSA as like a matchmaking service for college coaches and student athletes. So we're here to help student athletes find the right fit school, and we're here to help college coaches find the right fit student athletes for their rosters. So we work together to make that happen. And again, we've been doing this for a long time, super successful, had over 25,000 kids commit just last year. And I can't wait to see what we do with this upcoming class. It's been astronomical. But our host tonight, I'm just here to moderate and take the knowledge down that Sue puts out. But it's Coach Sue Enquist. Guys, if you don't know who she is, get out of here. But
come on now, come on. There are a lot of people that don't know.
I know. Well, now you know. She's a legend, living legend we have in our presence tonight. Coached over 27 years at UCLA as the head softball coach. She's a 6-time Hall of Famer, holds more national championships than anyone in the history of softball. All-American herself, national champion herself, Hall of Famer. My gosh, guys, I'm so glad you're this. She's got so much knowledge she's going to share tonight, and happy that we've been partnered with you for over 10 years. Sue, I don't know if you want to take it away from there.
Well, I just first want to say thank you. I just love partnering with you. Been a part of NCSA for over 10 years. I think the thing I love about them the most, first of all, are the people that are running the company of integrity. But I love how they put the onus on the family, that they give you a framework as a family, and that roadmap that you go through, they empower you because the large platform that they have in order to do that algorithm and that right fit for you. That's the power of what they can do. You're going to see a lot of companies out there that offer technology fit, but at the end of the day, you're going to need to speak to a person. You're going to need to build a partnership with somebody in the company that can navigate all the nuances. I just trust the people, and I'm not a person that really throws it out there that much, but I'm just really proud to be a part of them. And I stand by them. I tell people all the time, if you ever have a bad experience, give me a call. You know how to find me. Write me an email, sue@onesoftball.com. So it's pretty easy stuff. And tonight is about hopefully giving you some insight that I've learned as a former coach now, but really about what I know from the coaching landscape in multiple sports. And then also in this crazy time that we're in, it's even more important for families to be organized on their own, because many of my coaching colleagues right now, they're trying to manage their own budget, trim their budget, figure out how they're going to be able to find that extra money. And speaking to recruits right now is sometimes a difficult thing to do. So I'm asking you to give grace to some of my colleagues out there that probably may have not gotten back to you, because I certainly know the things that they're dealing with. So tonight is pulling back the curtain. I can speak freely. I'm not in the recruiting space. I have no boss. NCSA doesn't care if I convert one person. So I'm not in a position where I have that kind of pressure, which is great. That's what I love about NCSA. But I love the recruit education piece, and that's why I'm here tonight. So thank you. We'll try to answer some questions throughout. Once again, I appreciate you investing in yourself to better your path to college. And remember, I'll remind you at the end, this starts with you and it stops with you. And no one knows your student athlete better than the parent. So for the parents out there, thank you. I hope that we can give you a checklist of things to think about and really inspire you to a call to action when we get done. So on that note, do you tell me our timeline here tonight? Tell me when our perfect time to get off here, April, so I have enough time for our questions too. I want to confirm that.
Yeah, so we've got full 50 minutes from here on out from start to finish. So
yep.
If we get too wordy, which I know you and I can get a little wordy sometimes,
yes, we do. Guilty as charged.
We'll move us on. I know, we keep going. So
I love it.
Yeah, guys, let's just dive right in. Let's get to what these questions are that coaches are going to ask you. And then, at the end, guys, if you need a little bit more help, you can certainly set up an assessment with us here at NCSA. So one of the top questions that a college coach is going to ask you, and I say you as in your student athletes, guys. So a lot of these conversations, I know this is hard, is geared towards a student athlete, not towards mom and dad. So one of the questions, coach, you're going to ask is, why UCLA? What do you know about my school? What do you know about my program? What attracts you to UCLA? Kind of, what are you looking for in this response? Why are you asking this question to student athletes?
Well, I'm interested in seeing how much research you've done on the program. That tells me, are you interested enough to do the research about UCLA and then see how you fit? So I can't tell you how many times it happened that the student athlete and the family would come in and I would ask that question and they would both be looking at each other like, well, don't you want me? And it's something you have to think about in the recruiting process when it comes to a best fit. Think a potential marriage, right? So every school you go visit, think about it. This is my potential marriage because I hope this relationship lasts a lifetime like a marriage. Well, in a marriage, you want to make sure you know everything about that other person. And it goes both ways, right? So I'm doing everything I can to know about you and your family. And I'm hopeful you do everything to know about me and my family at UCLA. So be prepared when you get in there and know what your strengths are, know what they need, and then talk to how those merge.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And it shows you as a coach that they care, and it makes you care more about them, which is great. I mean, I've seen kids that were at the top of our list and knew nothing, went to the bottom real quick because they showed us they didn't care. And the flip can happen too, guys. So that's awesome. I think this question is phenomenal that we used to ask and college coaches currently in the landscape are asking. Tell me about your biggest fail. Who was responsible for it? and even just what's your biggest regret you've had this far? What are you looking for here? Why do you ask this question? And kind of go from there, Sue.
Well, I think the first thing is I want to see student athletes speak about failure with comfort. I want you to be a student athlete that comes to my program and says, I am completely aware that this game is unpredictable, that I am whole as a student athlete. I am whole. No one event is going to define me, meaning no one event can ever portray me as a bad person. I already know I'm a good person. I'm going to lose a lot. I'm going to fail a lot. So I want people to be able to look me in the eye and go, you know what, Coach Enquist, I have failed a lot. And this is my failure recovery system. This is what prompts I use when I fail. So I never get stuck in my junk. I never hold up my teammates. I never put myself in a position where the next play is carrying that last failure from the inning before. And do you have the ability to speak to that with comfort? I've asked that question before, and I've had student athletes really actually talk about how in their eyes, they've never failed. I want America to be comfortable saying, I failed. Be comfortable with that because it's only one event. It doesn't define you. You're a really good person. You know what your values are. You know what drives your values. You know what they look like at home, at school, and play. You'd be able to say all of these great things I'm doing total up to me being a great person, but I want to speak to you to how I deal with failure. And the more you're comfortable with that and owning it, I also want to know how well you are, how well you can be accountable. Man, there was a day where they were counting on me and I stepped into that box and I did not get it done. But you know what? I bounced back quickly. I came back to the dugout, high-fived my teammates because I wanted everybody to judge me on how I reacted to failure. Because when you're done playing, they're not going to talk about that fourth inning strikeout. They're going to say, you know what? She always battled. They're actually going to judge you on how you react to failure. They'll go, you know what? Couldn't stand her. She was such a big baby. We kick the field goal, we lose, we don't win, and she just sits in her junk. Those are the things people remember is how you react to failure. And I want to see if you can speak to it when we're in that meeting one-on-one.
I love it. Absolutely love it. What about this one? Like, what's your biggest fear about college? What are you looking for here from kids?
I want to know if they have been intentional at looking at all the new responsibilities that they're going to have that they've never had before. Are they going to live in the dorms? Do they have to do their own laundry for the first time? Do they manage their digital schedule for the first time? Are they coming from a rural area that's mainly Caucasian and now they're coming into a very diverse, vibrant metropolitan? Are they comfortable with that? And can they speak to that knowing excellence doesn't care what color your skin is or where you live or how much money in your pocket? But can they speak to their fears? Because I always want students to know if you have conscious fear, it's just your brain alerting you of the things you don't know. So just think of it as a signpost that comes up that says, hey, think about this, think about that. And then let your strong voice take over to say, hey, you know what? I've never done my laundry. I'm going to practice that. So when I get to college, I know how to work the machines. Or, hey, I don't really mix with people of different backgrounds. That unknown makes me think about it a little bit more. But these are the things I'm going to do. That the unknown is an opportunity to step in, know what you are, know what you stand for, and why it's important, and live your effort and attitude every day. You're going to be a great asset on any campus in the country.
Coach, I smell another college challenge.
Well, I mean, if we want to go there, I got my phone kind of blew up there, April. So if we should go there. I think we should. Last time that we did this, we had literally a college challenge. And we asked all our students, parents are going to love this. We asked all the students out there to think about just a couple things that you're going to have to do when you go to college. First thing, we know you have to do laundry. Second thing, we know you have to plan your meals. You're going to have to get organized on your meals. I challenge you students to do your own meals for a week and do your own laundry for a week. Then I want you to snap a photo and hit me on Twitter at Sue Enquist or Instagram or in Facebook. And then share with us this campaign that we've kind of got going around being college ready, right? Let's practice it. Take the load off your parents. Your parents are doing so much for you. Give your parents a lift. Let them come home and see you emptying the dishwasher, doing your own laundry. Like your mom will literally, she will flip out. What a nice present you could give her, especially during COVID when we know our moms and dads are working overtime.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait for your phone to blow up again. I saw some tweets of kids that were doing it and I was stoked.
It was really fun. We got some good feedback on that. So especially for the parents, I got some wonderful emails from the parents.
Oh, I'm sure they loved it. Who doesn't want their kids to do their own laundry, cook their own meals, and unload the dishwasher for a week?
And when you go to tournaments, carry your own equipment. That's
Right.
another one that coaches don't tell you. Carry your own equipment, because if you have your parents carrying it, I'm not looking for somebody that's coddled. Oh, coach, but I'm a catcher. My catcher's bag weighs 11 pounds. Yeah, and it weighs 11 pounds in college too. Start practicing, right?
Yep. Or mom, dad, fill up my water bottle. Nope.
Right.
Getting crossed off my list.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. So this is a great question. And it kind of pivots off our last conversation here. So walk me through your weekly preparation regarding school, sports, friends, part-time jobs, chores at home. How do you organize your calendar? What are some good responses, and have you had any like cringeworthy responses with with this at all?
The ones that are cringeworthy are the ones that say when they're 18 years old, 17 years old, when they say, well, my parents do my schedule. It's just like, ooh, that was the wrong answer, right? You want to be able to practice it. All of you student athletes out there, you are masters of your smartphone. And that calendar is just sitting there saying, pick me, pick me. And that poor calendar always gets beat out by TikTok. The poor calendar is 0-11 against TikTok. I'm going to challenge you out there, students. Start using your digital calendar. Put all your study time, your training time, your class time in there, and get comfortable with a digital calendar. Because right now, you may think you're busy in high school. It gets quite a bit busier. You're going to find the content in college isn't that hard. It just moves very quickly. So you have to be efficient with your minutes every day. You got to book in your reading time, put it in your calendar so you can start your schedule. In college, your day starts around 6 a.m. and it finishes about 11 p.m. So it's a full day. And the more organized you are and familiar you are with time management, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, and that's going to make college coaches feel more comfortable too, especially if you're traveling across the United States. Think about those kids, coach, that you're recruiting out of Florida that are coming to UCLA. It's a big jump from across the United States. So as coaches, we need to make sure that you're comfortable, organizing your day, organizing your calendar without mom and dad.
Yep, there's no doubt about it. And we, at One Softball, I started an online company called onesoftball.com, and we poll the coaches, the college coaches, and we say, what's the number one character skill that is lacking for freshmen in college? And they said time management. And time management, there's just science. There's just little tips and tools that you use. And one of them, the most important tool, is your digital calendar. You can put in your notifications, your alarms, so you're not late anywhere. Don't be late in college. It shows that you're still immature, a young kid. If coach says be at the meeting at 5, be there at 4:45. Early is on time. On time is late, and late is unacceptable. Start this right now. Don't be the kid that just rolls in at 5:01, because that's showing disrespect for your teammates and your coaches. And you want to be that exemplar. You want to be an exemplar when you're a freshman. You want to be the model that everybody else copies. And you can do that.
Love it. Love it. You kids are glued to your phones anyway, so this shouldn't be a problem. Your thumbs have plenty of workouts.
Exactly. I happen to be a big fan of Gen Zs. I think the Gen Zs are extremely talented, multifaceted, amazing ability to do a million things at once. But I think we do want to help them on some of these other things, and maybe they can add that in between all the other things that they're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, they can run circles around me with technology. You
Yeah.
brought up TikTok, and I'm like, yeah, I've heard of that.
Oh, yeah, it's happening. If anybody doubts, like I always say to people, if you doubt a Gen Zer, go on TikTok and see the amazing tricks, tips, choreography, dances that they can do. It just renews my hope that they can do that. They can master college easily.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They've got a fire in them, that's for sure. We need to watch out for them.
No doubt.
So, I think this is a great question. How do you feel about the bench and that role? What makes a great bench player? What are
I
your
think,
thoughts behind this?
well, I think there's two things, right? You want to see if they've got the awareness of empathy, knowing that if they're a starter, when they give out I always say the gift on game day is the starting lineup. Everybody that starts gets a gift of starting. But then what about the people below the line? So I asked this question, what makes a great bench player? Because I want to see if they've been paying attention to what a great bench player looks like. And that's that person that is ready and anticipating to jump in at any moment's notice, that can actually really truly celebrate other people's success and not make it about themselves on game day. The second thing I want to hear them say is I want them to be able to say, I understand I'm going to college and I'm going to be now on a team of all stars. And as long as I understand what's asked of me and I understand the criteria that will drive the starting lineup, so I know what the coach's values are, and I always encourage coaches to be more specific with our student athletes. We don't give student athletes enough credit. All they're asking for is clarity around the role. Their student athletes aren't afraid of bad news. They're frustrated with no news. So always encourage coaches to say, this is what you are. This is what you're not. This is what's important to me. And you got to close that gap if you want to be a starter. And if we did that every week, I think that it'd be more clear on roles and student athletes would be a lot happier. And this is for every level: college, high school, club ball.
I think that's great. Any advice for kids that are bench players right now, and like how they can best market themselves in the best light to get recruited? I know
Well,
this is a
first,
totally side
yeah,
topic.
first I would change your name, that you're not a bench player, you're a specialist. At UCLA, they were my specialists. So I had pinch runners that were our speedsters. I had pinch hitters that could just win the game on one swing. I had our rotators. Those are the players that play every other game, but they're all specialists because on game day, they all have specific roles that they carry out. So no matter it's a good role, a bad role, I'm just saying give 100% of that role, because I'm watching starters and I'm watching non-starters as well. And you may end up being a non-starter at a game that coach is there. They're watching you. You may not start the game. You're coming in the third quarter. Oh, trust me, they're watching your every move, how you interact with your teammates. Are you giving the high fives when they come in the dugout? Are you helping with the equipment? All these little things matter. On championship programs, it matters that you're the backup right fielder. Championship programs, it matters that you're the backup outside hitter. And always remember that and listen for that when you hear a coach talk about starters and non-starters. At UCLA, I had Bruins. That's what I had. I had Bruins. And on game day, we had the people that were the top 9, and then we had our specialists on that day. And so don't think of it like where your butt goes on the bench. I'm just a bench player. You're not just a. Remove the word just a. I'm a specialist, and I'm a Bruin, or I'm a cowboy, or whatever it may be.
Love it. Love it. I'm glad I asked that bonus question. So, what does it mean to be a leader? So when you're asking a student athlete this, what are you looking for?
It's, once again, I'm looking for their understanding of what the character skills that make a leader. And so it's not just, well, you're the one that hits the home runs and you're the best player on the team. It's not a class. Leadership is not a class. I can be a great leader as a freshman. I can be a great leader as a fan. A great leader thinks, speaks, and acts positively in positive and negative environments. When you're up by a run or you're down by 4 runs, a leader is unshakable in situations that everybody is shaky. So just remember how I think, how I speak, and how I act. I do it in a positive way over time on good days and bad days. That's what a leader does.
That's great. And I think the biggest thing too is like those, like the intangibles is what we're looking for when we're talking about leadership. Whereas some kids tend to go to like the stud on their team. Like that's the leader, or how I show leadership is, by hitting the home run every time or by hitting 500 on the volleyball court or what have you. So I think that's awesome to touch on those intangibles more than the tangibles.
Yep. I agree.
I think this is awesome. I mean, it's like threefold here, but what sets you apart from your competition? What makes you believe you can succeed on this team and at this level? And then how long is it going to take for you to contribute to this program?
Yeah, I'm gonna just unpack those one at a time. The one thing I would do is when we talk about what sets you apart from your competition, I would first start with your person, not you as a player. Coach Enquist, I first want to talk to you about the person I am, and I want you to highlight 3 strong values that you hold dear to your heart that you are able to give me examples of. So I always tell student athletes, when you're talking about your values, and you may have them really clear in your head, be prepared to describe them in detail through examples. So if someone comes up to me and says, Coach Enquist, I really pride myself on my effort I give every day and my attitude. And I want to talk about my effort. I know practice goes 3 to 5. You can count on me being there from 2:30 to 5:30. And those extra half hours, I'm going to be working out on my own. I don't need anybody else there. So that's going to talk about and give me specific examples of my work ethic. My attitude is one that is positive. I try to let the strong voice in my head, we got a strong voice and a weak voice. I let the strong voice win the conversation every day. I'm the person that really believes even before everybody is believing. And I've had teammates tell me, when I graduated from junior high, they told me the biggest thing that they've appreciated about me was my positive attitude. And I can remember back in the state championships and then articulate a story. And then that tells me that you're aware, you're connecting your events and your effort to your actual values that you believe in. That's number one. That's how you set yourself apart, is the person you are. Number 2, go to the player. And then be able to articulate that you've mastered failure recovery, that I'm not a player that's high when we're good, low when we're bad. I'm that player that's always in it, engaged, and being positive on our best days and our worst days. And you can count on me to be that person. So first talk about you as a personal person, and then talk about you as a performer. And then last, close with your values around being a member of your family and being able to talk about what you have gratefulness for regarding your parents. Maybe you're raised by your grandparents or your aunt and uncle, or maybe your pastor is a big influence, but speak to the things that you're proud of around your family. So start with yourself, go to yourself as a performer, and finish with the important values that you've gleaned from being a member of your family.
You know what I love, and sorry to cut you off there, but you did nothing about comparing yourself to Susie down the road. Like you did nothing to compare yourself to, Karen down the road. Like none of that happened. It was all, you know what? Let me tell you about me, because that's what I can speak to. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and remember, if we always make that commitment to control the controllables, I can't control Susie down the street. I can only control me, and I can only be grateful for the things that I see and do each and every day. I can't change somebody else's attitude. I can't change the results of a game. We have control over our character that drives our processes to get results, but we don't control the results. You can't control the W, but I can control how hard I work and what I pay attention to in my process. Character drives process. Process drives results. CPR, easy to remember.
Love it. What about what makes you believe you can succeed on this team and at this level?
I think this question is pointed at, have you done a good job of evaluating us online? or in person. So you want to be able to speak to the athleticism of the position you're going after. That, coach, I know you're looking for a shortstop. It's very clear to me that lateral movement, moving on angles, first step angle, those are things that are really important. And I'm one of the fastest in the state at my position. So be able to speak to technical things when you start to say, what makes you believe you can play in this program? So to prove to them that you've done the homework on the position that you're going after, and always open the door to being open to play multiple positions. If you have ever played another position, tell that coach always, listen, my dream is to be your third baseman. My dream is to be your wing. My dream is to be your forward. My dream is to be your right tackle. But you know what, coach? Good talent's flexible. And I've got great lateral movement. I can jump. I've got strong legs. I'm ready to be wherever you need me. And don't blink. Lean in and look at them with a full heart to say, I'm willing to play any position you need. That's a differentiator. And a lot of student athletes can't say that. They're like, nope, I want to play. I'm going to be a fullback. I'm not going to play any other position. Now I'm all about be honest, be open to change, prove your coachability, your value goes up.
That's awesome. Brings a good point too with your current coaches, guys. I think the word help is underused. Go to your coaches and ask how you can better help them, how you can better assist them, how you can make the team better. It's going to go a long way with your current coaches. And guess who's going to be an awesome reference for you? When Coach Sue Enquist calls up your coach and asks how Susie's doing, that coach is going to rave about you.
Yep. So true. And, they talk about the significant contribution, right? That's a little bit of a tricky question because there's a lot of moving pieces in this, right? How long will it take for you to make a significant contribution to the program? I want to hear you talk about, please don't use my age against me. Just evaluate my skills, my ability to see the game, execute, and have great failure recovery. So I want you to be able to step up and go, as long as I get an opportunity, sky's the limit. I could be there right when you need me when I'm a freshman. The game doesn't know. The game doesn't know how old I am. And all those student athletes that are fearing that unknown, I'm going to college, that next level. There's no next level. There's no next level. You've been playing your sport for 8, 10, 12 years. You're a veteran at 18. You're a veteran. You've got 4 years left. Get in there, celebrate, go for it, because they're going to judge you on whether you go for it, not whether you're perfect.
Love it. Love it. I think these are great. If I grabbed your worst enemy, what would they say negative about you? And then the flip side, what are 3 words you're closest to you? How would they describe you?
Yeah. And I think once again, this is just, are the student athletes aware of their weaknesses? Because we know you're not perfect. Don't feel like you have to say you're perfect. Don't feel like you have to say every perfect answer. So I want to see if you have the awareness to know what your weaknesses are, right? And once you can articulate, well, you know what, coach, if you grab my worst enemy, they'd probably say, I'm a little too full of myself. I may just buy into myself a little too much. And I probably need to walk that back a little bit. And then the 3 words, share 3 words those closest to you would use to describe you. That's, once again, I want to see how organized you are around your gifts. Can you speak to, I'm honest, I'm a good friend, and I'm a connector. I love all people of all backgrounds. I'm a connector, which makes you an influencer. But if you struggle and you are looking at the ceiling, I'm always fascinated as a college coach. We always joke with recruits. I don't know whoever told you to look at the ceiling, but the answers aren't on the ceiling. But I do see this, name 3 things. Nope, the answers aren't up there. So know these things on a daily basis. Know what you are, know what you're not, and work on what you're not. And you only have to get 1% better today. You don't need to be an All-American tomorrow. You don't need to be picked tomorrow. Just get 1% better. And I know I want to, April, if I could just do a quick timeout, I just want to say sorry to everybody whose graduation, whose seasons have been cut short. And my heart goes out to you, but I also know you've been granted this silver lining that this is your story now. And so when you go visit a college in the fall, I'm going to look you in the eye and say, hey, how was COVID for you? It's a loaded question. That is a loaded question. I guarantee you, everybody, college coaches are going to ask you to articulate what you got good at during COVID, because they're not really interested in you keeping score. You know, we always have people out there. They're the fairness gatekeepers. Like, this is so unfair. What? What are you talking about? Last time I checked, you're not the center of the universe. This is so unfair. Mom, this is so unfair. No, you want to know what's unfair? Not having food on the table, not having a roof over your head, not having a bed to sleep in. That's unfair. And so when you're doing the keep score of life is unfair, I'm going to challenge you to just type in COVID help and watch who comes up. The moms and dads that are fighting for a job, the sons and daughters that are trying to figure out where their next meal comes from. And if I can get my student athletes to think about that every day and have gratitude that you have a place to sleep, food on the table, clean clothes to wear, you're ahead of the game. So when I talk to you in the fall and you're with Coach Enquist and I said, hey, how's that COVID thing? I hope you say it pressed pause on my life and it made me reflect on all the great things I have and all the great people in my life. And then I also learned these 3 things. And I also got 20% stronger, 20% faster, and be able to have a grocery list of what you did. I'm going to challenge you right now. Hashtag grocery list. What do you got? What have you done? We've been locked down for 2 months. Give me your grocery list of what you've done. Hashtag grocery list. Sue Enquist on Twitter. Hit me. Send me a picture. I'll share it to all my people.
I love it. I love the kids that live on farms right now. And guess what they're doing? They're chopping logs and they're throwing logs because they're trying to get stronger, trying to get bigger, faster, stronger.
And I don't mean to be preachy. I get preachy and I apologize to you all, but I have so much passion about this that if you just put in the effort, you get somebody, a trusted third-party source that can give you an assessment to set your path that you execute, there's a school for you. If you're playing varsity sports right now and you're starting, there's a school for you. There's 1,400 colleges out there. NCSA is in bed communicating with these guys. Utilize that third party just for an assessment. I always tell people, don't give NCSA a dime yet. Don't give them a dime. But get assessed for free to know where you stand. Get the answers, and you can go do the legwork. Have options. That's the moral of the story.
Awesome. Yeah. And one thing, I hope everybody is grasping this with these questions and throughout this webinar is it's not just about your skills and your grades. There's so much that's about your character that goes into this recruiting process. And that's why as coaches, we're asking these types of questions because we want to know who you are ultimately at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I think why this is so important is there's so many athletes playing sports now. There is a surplus of student athletes. And the best way for you to separate yourself is to be able to speak to these things that we're talking about today. Because today was just about pulling back the curtain on what college coaches are thinking. When you talk to, I've got people I can see in the chat. Some people are like, when do we email the coach? There is a big plan that you have to put out. So we can't tell you when to email somebody unless you tell me where you are on your roadmap. There's actually a roadmap on your path to college. Partner up, get the feedback, get the assessment so you know where you're standing, you know the work that you have to do, because clarity on your path to college will give you peace of mind in this recruiting process when there's so much unknown.
I love it. And Coach, I'm not going to go through any of these scenarios. I just want to keep this page up here for families to look at, take a screenshot of. My emails at the bottom of every screen too. I'll send you a recording of this if you just email me and ask for it. But come up with what you would do if these scenarios were the case for your student athlete and how you would respond to a coach. I think it's really important. Again, I don't think we need to go through all these because I want to get to questions here.
Yeah. And I also want to just reach out to Sydney. I see you. CPR, character. Remember character, how I think, speak, and act. Character drives your process, the stuff that you do every day with a good attitude and hard work. That character drives process drives results, and results you can't control. I just had to answer that quick question I saw pop up.
I love it. I love it. This is a good one that I think so relevant, especially with everything going on right now with COVID, being stuck at home and probably using technology a little bit more than what we've been used to. So if the whole world shut down social media, would you be relieved or panicked? How would you connect with others? What are you really looking for with this question?
Just understanding that you can value your social media life, but you also know that you have the skills to communicate, pick up the phone, talk to people, speak in complete sentences, speak with adults with the same level of comfort as your peers. That's what we're looking for. It's fascinating when I talk to student athletes today that are in the recruiting window, right? 9th grade to 12th grade, they're in the recruiting window. More now than ever before, they're saying, there are days, coach, I wish social media would shut down. I wish that the world would say, don't touch your phone for 3 days because, and this is what they say, I would have peace of mind knowing nobody else is on social media, because what I feel from you all, the Gen Zers, I feel like you're in this race every day, this race to get thumbs up and this race to get followers. And I have so much empathy for you because I just want you to remember every day all the great things you do. You're already a great person. That great athlete is in there. You just have to unlock that courage to go for it. Just go for it. What are they going to say? Oh, I couldn't stand my teammate. He went for it too much. He went for it way too much. He was way too positive. Couldn't stand him. No, they don't say that. They say, I couldn't stand that teammate because they were bottom third. They sucked the life out of me, right? Bottom third, middle third, top third of a team. You got bottom thirds. Those are the whiners and the complainers. Then you have middle third. They blow in the wind. Things are good, great. Things are bad. I hate my team. I hate my coach. I hate the universe. And then you have top third. On this Zoom, we have top 1%. Thank you for investing in yourself on your path to college. I appreciate you.
I love it. Make people jealous of your positivity, not mad at your negativity.
Yeah. And there's only 2 things that come out, positive or poison. There's no in between.
Yep. So bonus question, and then we're going to get to how to get an assessment and answer all these questions here. So when coaches ask, what other schools and coaches are you talking to? What are we doing, coach?
Well, I mean, many schools are chasing, right? Many schools, the majority of schools are not the defending champions, right? So they're chasing recruits and also chasing those college programs, trying to be as good as them. So many colleges will ask this question because they want to know who they're up against and to be able to be strategic in that. And I want you to be heads up. Some schools, and I always appreciated this happened in the Pac-12. Some schools will not give you the same timeline as the front runner school. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're a football player and I say, you know what? I'm going to give you until September 1 to make a decision. Well, the school that's chasing UCLA knows they're the backup and they know your dream school may be that championship school. Well, the only way they can compete with UCLA is they say, we're going to give you until August 20th. So now they put you in a dilemma. Because in your mind, your perfect world, I've got UCLA and then I've got that backup school and I'm going to let them know on September 2nd if UCLA doesn't want me. And so at the end of the day, be prepared for those strategies that happen to you as a student athlete. It's fair. It's tough. It's a little sneaky, but I want you to be aware that that happens. Sometimes you're going to get an offer and there's a timeline attached to it.
Absolutely. I hated the 24-hour deadlines.
Right.
It used to drive me nuts when I was a coach and I had a kid that a recruit would pressure me to make them an offer. Well, so-and-so just gave me a 24-hour deadline. And I said, if that's the school of your choice, good luck with that.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And moved on.
Yeah.
So now what? Obviously, the older you are, the more contact you should be getting with those right fit schools, most importantly. We don't want just random contact, guys. We want personal contact from schools that make sense for us. If you're in 2022, though, I tell you what, you should have your own bucket right now because June 15th is coming up real quick for you. All right. Floodgates open for those 2022s, and you guys got to be ready for that. And then 23s and 24s, depending on your skill level, guys, like you should be initiating contact. If you just picked up the sport, you're probably not ready to start recruiting yet to the college level. You've been playing for a while. You're a great athlete. You've got coaches that are already looking at you. It makes sense for you to be reaching out, trying to get to camps, trying to get some questionnaires filled out, getting on coaches' radars. So one thing that Coach Enquist has talked about throughout this is getting a recruiting assessment with NCSA. What that is, it's a 45-minute call. It's an opportunity to meet with one of my recruiting specialists who have coached collegiately, played professionally. They know their stuff. So all this does, it assesses where your family's at in the recruiting process. It helps us better understand your goals so we can better get you a game plan of what you need to do moving forward. There's no cost to that, guys. We do have premium memberships available for families that do need help. If you don't need help and you've got a good game plan, guys, we're going to give you the thumbs up and say, keep doing what you're doing. Again, we're only here to help. So how do you get that done? And we'll get started on questions here. So Coach Enquist, if you want to start looking through the chat box, get prepared for questions, that'd be awesome. But email me directly. My email's on the screen here, guys. ahall@ncsasports.org. Subject line, assessment requests. We'll get that going for you. Again, all this does is help you get a better game plan put together and help your family understand, hey, we're at point A and this is point B. Now, how do we get to point C? All right, that's what NCSA is designed to do. So,
well, and I think what I like about it so much is it's free. And, so many people out there and that are in this kind of slimy recruit service world. And I want everyone to know, I was the coach that told everybody stay away from recruit education companies and scouting services. And now I'm actually a partner with one. It's because the people that run the company, I just believe in the technology and the people running the company that they're not going to pull the wool over your eyes. But here's the best part. There's no risk. Zero. Just find out where you stand on your path to college. They may say, oh my goodness, you are in mile 1 and you've got 100 miles more. They may say, hey, you know what? You're at mile 50. You don't have that much more work to do. Just get that feedback and then you go do the homework. But there are a lot of families that would prefer to have somebody help them because you're going to get a human walking you through your path to college. This idea that you're going to get a college coaching list and you're going to hit reply all to these colleges doesn't work that way. So don't do this reply all, dear coach. It doesn't work that way. That's what I love about NCSA. They're going to give you the list of schools that they're already projecting you're interested in. So that recruit match, that's where the secret sauce is, right? There is some secret sauce there. They know what positions they're looking for and they're going to match with the position that you are. And you'll know exactly who may be interested in you. And I always recommend what I call the 50-10-3 rule. When you're on your path to college, your goal is to get that match list up, way up. 50 schools that match you. And what is a match? Big school, small school, football school or no, close to home or not, warm weather, cold weather. Get all of that criteria down, and you're going to find 50 schools that fit your match. And then out of that, we hope 10 are interested in you. Now it really gets good. And I hope that 3 will offer you a scholarship. Remember, over 90% of scholarship financial aid dollars are in Division II and below. Over 1,400 colleges. So some of the smartest people I ever met were in D2, D3. NAIA is a huge option for students to have a great career in college. So keep your mind open. It's about finding that next best fit for 4 years to finish out your career.
That's awesome. I'm getting quite a few. I was looking through the chat box here, Coach. Like some sport specific questions or kind of like oddball scenarios. Guys, feel free to email me those if we don't get to them tonight. I know we're on a time limit. We do have a lot of questions. I'm happy to help you guys, give you a little bit of advice, and answer those questions for you if we don't get to them tonight as well.
Yeah,
Just
so
wanted to give everyone a heads up.
all the recruiting questions need to go to April because she's actually the subject matter expert, is aware of the rules, all those kinds of things. As you know, I'm retired. I want to give you that insight on strategy and how you lay out conversations. I saw one of the questions was, what are some questions I asked the coach? Ask the coach to articulate why they picked the assistants that they did. Ask the coach to tell them what their program stands for in one sentence. Ask the coach what they're most proud of. Ask the coach what their biggest fear is. Ask the coach what their biggest fail is. Ask the coach what their pet peeves are when they go to the park and watch recruits. Those are the kind of questions that will give that coach an idea that you've really done your homework. I get a lot of questions and I see them here around the videos. Make sure the video is a highlight video. We don't need music. We don't need poems. You don't need to send me popcorn in an envelope. I did get that at one point. Just have it be crisp, showing your best stuff, and have it be short. Remember, I'm going to make my decisions on a video in about the first 10 to 15 seconds, believe it or not. I know no one tells you that, but that's kind of the truth. So make sure your best stuff is right there in the beginning.
Awesome. Awesome. And anyone I'm seeing like asking about the recording, is this going to be available on the website? Email me as well, guys. If you email me individually, I will shoot your recording. Sometimes it takes like a full 12 hours for it to process, but I definitely will help you guys get a copy of this recording as well.
You know, I'm going to answer this question from Brian Kelly. He says, there are a lot of voices out there that tell you that you are more likely not to make certain schools for your sport. But my thought is that they have 11 players on the field. Why can't I be one of the 11? Is that wrong? Is that a wrong attitude? Okay, Brian Kelly, you're the type of person I want to recruit. I'm going to ask you to be just ambitious and go out there and be brave, because there are a ton of Division I schools that you've never even heard about. So be ambitious, be brave, just to have lots of backup plans just in case your dream school's not ready for you. Good question.
I have a COVID question, Sue, that I'm going to hop in on. So we have a question. Did the June 15th date get pushed back to June 30th? So those are two separate things, guys. So June 15th for majority of sports is when Division II and Division I coaches can call you, text you, email you. There are some sports that's September 1st of junior year still. Again, if you're confused on that, please email me. I can help you guys with that. June 30th, Division I only has pushed restrictions on in-person recruiting and camps and combines until June 30th. Division I only. So those Division I coaches that are allowed to contact you on June 15th, if it's appropriate for your sport and your grad year, are still going to be able to do that. So just wanted to clarify that for you guys.
I also there was a gentleman that had asked about position versus he's a runner, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how do you sell yourself as a runner? So anybody that's in a very objective sport where they're looking at your time. So think swimming, right? Think golf, think running, where it's very, very black and white. Then you have to speak to the person you are, to your work ethic, to your ability to be a great teammate. You got to be able to articulate those things really well and very succinctly and very naturally. And I promise you, there's two people that are running the mile and they're, 3 seconds difference between them. They can pick either one. Trust me, they're going to pick you that has clarity around who you are and what you do and why it's important.
I'm glad you answered that question because I almost asked you it earlier in the webinar.
Oh, nice.
To say, who would you rather have? You got two kids that have the same size, same athleticism, same grades, same everything, but one kid can articulate who they are. Who would you pick? Yep. And it's the kid with character and knows who they are every single time.
Yep.
I love it.
Another strategy that I want people to consider is, you've got your little inner circle of youth coaches that speak on your behalf. I'm going to challenge you to ask competitors that aren't in your friend bubble. So if you're not getting the exposure, go to that one team that you always play against, that team that always beats you. Go to that coach and say, hey, coach, am I worthy based on my skill? is there a coach so-and-so that you know that you could speak to my behalf? Be courageous and go outside just your little bubble of coaches that you deal with. Super important.
Got a question about camps. So all camps are canceled right now. What's the next best thing to do? Create your digital presence, guys. That's the only way that kids are getting recruited right now. Because remember, coaches are stuck at home too. We're not out on vacations. Frankly, we never really knew what vacations were anyway. So understand that you have to build up this digital resume, this digital profile, this digital footprint of yourself. So that's how coaches can recruit you without camps and showcases and things that are going on.
And you know what? I was just reading one of these and Olivia asked tips on handling rejection. First of all, this is how I want you to think about rejection. This is how I want you to think about when you're not picked. That recruiting is a puzzle, and the piece they were looking for wasn't your piece. It has nothing to do with you're not worthy, you're not a good person, they don't like you. It's just a fit. So when you get that rejection and they say no, I want you to say this in your head, not yet. Meaning there's somebody out there that's going to fit you. That's why it's so important to be able to find that right match so you can be efficient when you start the recruiting process and you're not running around in circles, hitting reply all to 400 coaches that don't even care about you. Start communicating and getting to know the ones that are already a good fit for you. You get rejected here today, recruiting or in life. It's not about you. It's about the fit.
I've got a question about injury for you, coach. So how would you handle disclosing a major injury with college coaches? Are you going to bring it up proactively or should you wait for them to ask you?
Yeah. And that's a great question. I want to sleep well at night as a person. So I would tell them, but I would be very, very succinct on had the surgery, did the rehab, and I'm 100% better. Matter of fact, I'm stronger than I was before because my rehab was so intensive. You'll notice out on the field, you didn't notice anything, but I'm a person of integrity. I want to be truthful, everything I do. So I'm the type of person that would prefer that be out front. I can't tell you how many kids I recruited that had a meniscus tear, that had a labrum tear, that had low back. Because I'm evaluating them right there, how they move in that moment. And then they have the integrity to tell me, that's the kid I want. I want that kid. I want the honest kid. But that's just me. You may get another coach that says, don't tell the coaches anything. Keep it a secret. Lie about it if you have to. But then you have to sleep at night, right? So I sleep well at night because I live a life where I'm honest and it just feels better. You got peace of mind.
I agree. I was right there with you, coach, with that response. And it also helped me too. Like if we needed to come up with a plan for strength and conditioning for you and come up maybe with a different plan with our strength coach, we could do that because we knew before you even got here.
Yep. There's no doubt about it. It's just so important that you start building that relationship that's built on trust.
Can you speak a little bit to walk-ons? I've seen this a couple times in a couple different scenarios throughout here. What are they? How does that work?
The walk-on is different for every school. So you need to ask this question, not based on division, but based on school. You want to get clarity around, am I a recruited walk-on? Meaning you're bringing me in, I get no aid, but I'm on the team every year, barring that I broke the rules. Super important that you remember that. So am I a recruited walk-on or do I have to try out every year? So those are the two main things you want to remember on the walk-on. Do I get to travel if I'm a walk-on? So ask about traveling, ask about having to try out each and every year. So for me, I would tell the walk-ons, you're part of us. You're going to travel. You're going to do everything. No, you don't have to try out. I don't care if you ever set foot on the field. I picked you. I picked your family. We're going to be together forever. That's the type of program you want to be with.
Awesome. I got a great question. What's going to stand out on an athletic resume to you? Because a lot of resumes are the same and look the same. What pops for you that makes one student athlete stand out from the other?
Well, just put the most vital stats up at the beginning. I need to know your test scores and your GPA. That's the biggest thing. And then I look for the video link, to be honest with you. Then I just look for the video link. I need to be able to see you. I love you listing all the great things you do, but I don't go deeper into the resume until I see the video. Then I have 2 videos that look the same. Then I go in deeper into the resume.
What would you recommend for student athletes that are struggling to get video right now because their seasons were canceled? Do you recommend training videos? Do you what do you recommend to help those kids kind of stand out while they're waiting?
Yep. Everybody is going to be given grace, right? So if it's time for you to be shooting out your videos and you have to do a training video, college coaches get that. They're in lockdown too. So go ahead and show your best stuff and show your versatility and cut up that video and show me the best stuff. I can't believe the videos that got sent. You get one shot for me to look at you for 1 minute and you're putting in stuff in there where you're actually making errors. Like, who does that?
That's the biggest myth going around right now, Coach Enquist. I've heard it from families 1,000 times. My club coach told me to put errors in there. No, sweetie, we'll see that when we come watch you play.
Your goal on the video is to say, this is all of my best stuff. The coach knows it's edited. We know that. Your goal on the video is to get me to go to the park. I'll see it, as April said, I'll see the errors there, and then I'll watch your failure recovery and see how you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me see here. We'll do a couple more, Coach. I want to be cognizant of your time and all these awesome people that are on this webinar as well.
Yes.
How do you know if a coach is interested in you? Great question.
Well, once again, you got to get on your roadmap. You got to find the schools that match you. And how do you know that? Like, literally, if you're doing it on your own, you're going to have to go to every website and see who's graduating your position. That's one. Do they need your position? Number 2, are your grades aligned with the type of school? So if you're a pre-med, you got your pick of the schools in the country. But if you're not, school comes hard. You may have to shoot for a school that doesn't have those high standards. So do that homework first. That's what I love about NCSA. I let them do it. Let them go ahead and scan the 1,400 colleges and then just be able to share with you, hey, here are the schools that are most aligned with your profile, because the technology takes care of it.
Love it. I'm going to hijack your question. So how much time will you be given to make a decision whether or not to sign up with an NCSA program following the assessment call? So guys, you have as much time as you need for your family to be ready to do it. Obviously, if you're going into senior year, you might feel like you need to make that decision a little bit quicker because you're going into senior year. Things got to get moving for you. So, but I will say this, guys, I've been at NCSA on the sales side for 5 years now. I have never once felt like this was a sales gig. I've never once felt like this was a sales job. I never once felt like I had to pressure a family to sign up for a program. So something to keep in mind, guys, when you're ready, that's when it's time for you to start the process.
Yep. I totally agree. And for those people out there that have questions around the recruiting, April's there to answer all those technical questions for you. That's the nice thing, that you're going to have access to her just by being able to be on this webinar.
Yep. Let's get one more. I'm trying to find a good one. If you see a good one, feel free to jump on it, Coach.
Well, I just want to answer the NCSA questions because, I don't work for them. I'm not an employee of NCSA. I'm just a consultant. And people always say, well, I heard it's expensive. Well, it depends on how much of the work you want them to do. It's like anything. You're going to get what you pay for. So if you're willing to do all the work, it's nominal. It's small. But if you're like, no, I want the full Monty, I want all of it, then it's going to be more pricey. So I think what gets misconstrued is NCSA is expensive. It depends on how much work you want to do. So I tell people all the time, listen to NCSA, sign up for all the free stuff, get all the checklists, get assessed, and then go do it all yourself. But what happens is parents don't have the time and student athletes don't have the time. So I think at the end of the day, those are the things you have to evaluate as a family, because no one, as the parents out there, no one knows your kid better than you do. So you're going to drive a lot of this when it comes to the road path to college.
Awesome. Well, Coach, I think we're gonna cut her off there. But
yeah, appreciate it.
There's so many questions, guys. Again, we didn't get to everybody. Please email me. I'm happy to answer those for you. Because there are so many people here, please give me a little bit of leeway with how quick my responses are. I will try to get back to you within 3 days. I guarantee you I'm going to be working this weekend. Get some emails out to you guys, firing them out. But thank you, Coach Enquist, again, so much. It's always an honor to have you on these. I hope all of you took something away from this, learned so much. I hope your hands hurt from taking so many notes. And more importantly, I think both Coach and I hope you guys are safe and healthy and in a great spot mentally as well.
Yeah, April, I just want to say the same thing to the moms and dads out there. Thanks for doing double duty. Thanks for taking care of your kids. And to the student athletes out there, every single day, remind yourself that you're doing good work. You just have to get 1% better. Don't worry about the rejection. Don't worry about the people that are going to say you're not good enough, you're not fast enough, you're not strong enough. Nobody knows the size of your heart, and let that drive you each and every day. On that note, good night, everybody. Stay healthy.
Awesome.
Thank you. Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you. Have
Thank
a good
you for
one.
everything. Bye-bye.